Okay. So we are live. Welcome everyone to the Agent Intelligence. So we are exploring here the future of AI agent in Web3. I'm Francesco, and yeah, today we're deep diving into just technology and vision behind different projects, different strong AI builders, and I'm super excited to actually welcome you guys. Before we start, quick reminder to anybody that we are also driving a lot of community calls and kind of agent discussion around in the Mother Discord. Here is the link, so feel free always to check it out. So without further ado, welcome everyone. I would love for you guys to quickly introduce yourself. Anjali, you wanna start introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'll kick things off. Hey everyone, my name is Angeli George. I started my career in the advertising space on the agency side in San Francisco and got into crypto in 2017 and haven't really looked back. From 2019, I was leading marketing at Tron, working directly with Justin Sun on strategic projects, everything from Warren Buffett to Blue Origin to Giacometti. And then about a year and a half ago, I realized that AI was going to change everything that we knew, and it was going to impact the way we worked and we lived and we breathed. And so I really wanted to get involved in the space, and I've been very nerdy from being a young child. And so I dove into it head first. I got introduced to the Theoric team as one of the founding contributors to the team. I brought the team out at stealth, established the brand, helped kind of direct product and kind of the direction that we were going. And that's kind of where I met both Poria and Justin. So pass it on to Poria.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Hi everyone. Poria.
Oh, I think you're kind of muted, Bria. I don't know. You're enjoying the pool in the landscape, maybe.
Is it better?
No, still
I
not.
can hear Poria.
Is it better? Is it better now?
I can hear you.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Strange.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you, Justin. Same with Anjali. So it's probably me. Some output. Let me get. Let's try this. Try to speak real. Let's.
Okay, is it better? Can you hear me?
So strange. Cannot hear you. Let me try to untoggle you and toggle you back. That's so strange. Please speak again.
Hello, 1 2 1 2 3. No.
Okay. I guess. I don't know what's happening, but we need you. We need to demo. If not, it's our problem. Try here.
No worries. I mean,
let's do.
yeah, Justin first. Justin, yeah,
Justin,
feel free to give an intro of me too.
Yeah, sounds good. From my background, so I started working at Crypto Robo Advisory in Europe with Plum. They have 2 million active users. I was leading partnerships there. After that, I joined Ripple Labs, where I was leading a lot of the DeFi BD initiatives. I was also influential in one of the first people who came up with the idea of Ripple stablecoin, which was launched earlier this year. After that, I joined Theoric as a founding contributor, as head of protocol, mainly looking at ecosystem, bringing the project out of stealth and focusing on growing the ecosystem from 0 to 1. And then, decided to move full time and focus on building SOLENG.
Nice. I can hear you now.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Poria, dev at SOLENG. I started my AI ML career at Large Hadron Collider, CERN in Switzerland.
Nice.
And I worked there for about 3 years, then moved to Canada, started my PhD in AI, natural language processing. And then 2 years in, I dropped out, raised $2 million to build large language models pre-GPT-3 for B2B organizations. And fast forward 3 years, we lost the competition to OpenAI, Anthropic, and Cohere. So I started my career in crypto, and after that, at Theoric, that's how I met Anjali and Justin. Nice. And then I was building AI agents, and after that, I decided to join Anjali and Justin to build SOLENG, which really resonates with me in terms of this autonomous solutions engineer.
That's really cool. I actually really enjoying having this kind of AI agents spotlight. The biggest reason is because there are really giga brains in building AI agent right now, and I think like you guys definitely like are a super strong team. But let's kind of like give a little bit of context. What is Solange? I actually like here for the first time when I was interacting with like the DevRel agent and then seeing all a bit on Kyton, the social share awareness. Does anyone want to screen share and show us a quick demo on the Solange side? We'd love to understand a bit more. And for the people, hearing us, like if you have any question, always feel free to ask in the chat. I see already people commenting on different things. I think Purya, you wanted to screen share, right?
For sure, yeah. Let me share my screen. I have there is this
Oh, nice.
GitHub here that I mean I'll share it later. So this gives like a quick overview of how Solange is built. Solange, although it's a DevRel and solutions engineer, like one line, but behind the scenes a combination of all these different agents. The industry calls them swarms of agents are working together to make sure Solange does her job properly. So we initially were very, very interested in having this dev role to have personalities. So we used Eliza, but we extracted the personality side of Eliza. We made it manual, so it's dynamic. Solange is up to date. She knows what's happening, so she maintains her personality that way. And then we realized that people really enjoy to have like a technical agent that is monitoring the new GitHub code to understand whether it's actually like a LARP or there is some tech behind it. This is currently part of our terminal, and then we would keep improving that. At the same time, Solange submits her own PRs. We opened the PR for the ZuriPy open source project to solve the problem with long tweets. So if tweets are longer than 280 characters, Solange submitted a code so that that long tweet is broken into a thread of tweets. At the same time, Solange reviews open PRs. We joined AI16Z's GitHub as a contributor, so she monitors open PRs and then leaves comments. And then there are other things here. For example, there are some tools that the agent uses. If there is any GitHub communication, we have a GitHub tool, which is pretty much a wrapper for the GitHub APIs. We have data tools that talk to external data sources, which could be like an external database or external GitHub where we push our codes or results to. And in terms of the terminal, so which is live here, you could go to terminal.solange.ai. You could see it here. One of my favorite MI16Z GitHub. One of my favorite projects are the Eliza ones, of course. So when you copy paste, GitHub a link, so that Solange gives you like her analysis of what is happening in the code. It gives you pretty much an overview. And then when you scroll down, it gives you like a deeper analysis of whether it's a safe project, it's a good project,
Nice.
what it is. But for AI16Z, apparently it's putting a very good word, like a robust, extensible framework with significant potential.
Is this dashboard available for everyone, or this is
Yes.
kind of like the backend of Solange?
No, it's available for everyone, terminal.solange.ai, and then it's also accessible through our website, which is solange.ai, and this is our website. So if you have to wait for her to think, and then you would have the launch terminal here, we can launch it. But in order to use Solange, we are gating the terminal with 100K Solange, so that as soon as you have that in your wallet, you have access to the terminal.
So like, I think it's important to set the stage, right? Like, why did we start building Solange and what was the motivation behind it? So, well, we started working in the AI space. There was a lot of builders who were building lots of different agents, whether it's like yapping agents to get like attention on Twitter, or agents that could buy pizza or connect to a smart contract and automatically like manage compute. There's so many different things that are happening. But what we found was that a future state of AI is going to be agents actually end-to-end completing job functions. And one of the most important tasks for any crypto company who's trying to attract developers to maintain a community is developer relations. And then secondary to that is when we realize there is a need for non-technical people like me who are geeky, have good ideas, but no real way to work with a cursor or, to download a on compute kind of like tool. So how do we kind of make something that would be helpful end to end on that spectrum? So the first part of that is sort of looking at what Nader is doing in terms of like interacting with the community, answering questions, or even when we were talking to Shaw recently, there's 180, 200 open PRs, and it takes a lot of human effort to go line by line through the codes, find if there's a bug, find if it's actually going to run, put it into a sandbox, test it, and then give back feedback and then kind of merge it, right? So a lot of this is very repetitive functions that we think an agent will be very easily able to automate, runs 24 hours a day, can maintain and run all of this, and acting as an initial gate. So that's really how we started with SOLENG. And then from there, that concept became extensible, right? Like hackathons, for example, we were talking to a lot of hackathon providers, and most of these people are judging these projects based on a business pitch or a PowerPoint presentation that you put together, not because of the idea that the code is actually going to run or if it's forked and like a legitimate project. And so the Solana AI Hackathon was our first test case with 400 applicants. And when we initially scanned through it, almost 30% of those were culled because they didn't have a GitHub repo. They were just like empty repos, right? So there's no point in a judging panel actually putting any effort into reviewing those projects because there is nothing behind it. And then for the remainder, when you run through them, there's a lot of issues and there's very few that are actually like technically competent projects. And so that became a very big niche for us that there's a big demand for. And now Story Protocol is using us, Monad is using us, Mode is using us. And so it's really finding product market fit for agents where how are they going to impact businesses? And this was kind of like our first iteration of that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm running the developer relation team at MetaMask and being in Endeavor for a long time. And even finding judging hackathons, running through like specific like code of the winners or just fresh code checkers. There is so many things, even kind of like content and builder engagement activation. There are kind of pre-drafting things with so much support that could be done. Especially like I see a lot of value around the CLI and getting started guides from the CLI. They are verticalized to like use cases. They will actually save a lot of time for the developer teams in general, right? But also like, I mean, when was that kind of like Gaia came out with this the pre virtual hackathon judged and organized by agents, I see so much value also in this. So I think that touched really like not just a pain points, but also like a use case that especially for the developer advocacy role is super important. And I think you can also evolve the role on a much more kind of like bigger scale. Could be like developer support, getting your docs optimized. Starting with basically engineering team, supporting the engineering team to actually like build a better, kind of iterate better docs based on the current developer feedbacks, because we have so much knowledge that can be pre-trained. And this is a question I also have to you guys. Like, so how is kind of like, what were the challenges when you're kind of getting started with SOLENG here? Like, is the pre-training model, is the data that could be missing? I'm just trying to understand what kind of like, what was the history around kind of like, where were the challenges, or is kind of like the framework, Eliza was not having enough like integration at the beginning because now everything is getting through like Eliza and integration around Eliza, or what do you think about all these challenges?
Yeah, that's a very good question. To be honest, there are lots of open source frameworks that we leveraged at the beginning, including the AI16Z. But when you are building this fully autonomous agent that is doing lots of things, and then at the same time you want to deploy it, make sure it's scalable, it can service to thousands, millions of people, hopefully in future, then we would face a lot of barriers with the existing frameworks. For example, to build the multi-agent infra, we didn't use LangChain or LangGraph. They already have their well-known problems. So we decided to build them from scratch. And then while doing that, we have to spend a little bit more time. The dev time a little bit like increases, but we make sure that it's scalable. It could be like tweakable. We have full freedom to change anything we want. And then another thing, if I want to give a deeper example, that also Shaw, for example, pointed out, when you hire LLMs like a single ChatGPT wrapper to open a PR review, to write the code, most of the problem that comes up is that LLMs tend to say, oh, the error handling is not good, right? So they default to the biggest thing they see when they were trained. So in order to make sure you break down the task, you feed in the right data, you feed in them when a simple RAG that retrieves the chunk of code and passes in, that's more sophisticatedly implemented, so that alleviates all of those problems. So it's very easy to wrap it up. It's very easy to have a demo agent that does a thing, but it's a very long way to make sure the agent is scalable, it's it's accurate, the results are reproducible and stuff like that.
So are you currently training also Solange based on kind of like current data? What I'm saying is that one is the past data. So right now there are hackathon happening. We have I mean, I was trying to kind of like analyze all these global hackers around their submissions. So are you also like what's the plan here? Like the continuous training of this like DevRel agent, because I think like you need to keep up with the innovation, with the content being pushed, and even with the knowledge of other DevRels, because I think you guys should definitely refer to other current DevRels to feed data for improving, because I would love to use it. I would love to kind of optimize it if I know it's kind of like up to date.
No, that's a very good question. Because the limited amount of resources, we cannot sadly train a model because they cost like millions of dollars. But what we are doing right now, we are first making sure the data, the knowledge base is not like simple RAG or simple like embeddings that are generated. We are generating embeddings and then combining them with graph RAGs. So that's one thing in terms of the data processing. And in terms of the LLMs, we're doing fine tuning, right? So fine tuning is a lot easier. For example, you have a custom data. We can fine tune an LLM a lot cheaper than actually training it. But hopefully in near future, when we have a lot of resources, we would for sure consider doing, training or even deeper fine tuning. Like when we fine tune, we train the deeper layers of the large language model, and then it would help us with more accurate agents.
Nice. So that's actually very cool. I really like that you showed the diagram flow around kind of like the integration. One question that I had is in general, like how are you guys dealing with integration right now? What kind of the next steps that you are planning to do in order to either could be like integrate with other technology provider, and kind of like B is feeding more data. Like so, where is kind of the vision there?
Yeah, Angela, you want to give the bigger vision?
Yeah, I can jump in. So we're actually exploring a few different areas, right? So how can we use the evolving AI crypto stack is one of the things that we're looking at. So we've actually started working with the EigenLayer team on using verifiable AI and like zk-LTS for agents. Similarly, like how do you put an agent into like a TE workflow so that you know that the work that this agent is doing is autonomous? When like the Zerikai repo, for example, Solange found the open issue. She decided, because we gave her like the rules, that she could open up a PR and submit a solution for it, right? So that's another part. We're also looking at how do we give Solange a wallet so that when she's called into certain scenarios, she can get paid for her actions. So those are some of the problems that we're trying to solve. There's also things around like memory management and dynamic content creation. So if somebody is asking repeated questions about how do you do a certain action, whether it's, I can't think of an example right now, but if there's repeated questions, it's something where you can create content for. So we're trying to look at like content generation platforms. We've already started working with a 3D modeler, and that's going to create Solange's image. So just like the videos that you create, Francesco, of going out and testing something, teaching
Oh, yeah.
people about a specific, area of your documentation, running people through
Yes.
it, or acting as like a mentor during a hackathon where you have questions.
Yes. Oh, I would love
So
that.
like those
Yep.
kinds of areas are like where we think agents will kind of become repetitive processing, right? Even if you go into a Discord chat right now, you've got your dev or your coders channel. There's so many messages that come through that don't usually get responded to or take a human a lot of time to process.
Yes.
So that's like a big area that we think of. I also see the question around like why Web3 and what
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up now. Look
I
at
think
this.
it's a very
Thanks,
important
Khalid.
question.
Yeah.
We think of Web3 as an industry and a vertical that's forming. There are so many Web2 specific applications and Web2 specific agents that are being built, but without the contextual awareness and knowing which accounts to follow, like we're scraping Nader, we're scraping you, we're scraping all of the leading DevRels in the space as kind of like thoughts and thinking for Soleng.
Yes.
And if you don't know who these people are, the value add is not like pointed enough to be specifically useful, right? Then there's also the criteria of needing to know the ELIZA framework or the Zeropi framework or the virtuals framework. And if you don't
Yes.
have this knowledge base, there's no way that a Web2
Yes.
agent will be useful. So the extensibility and like having it be like industry specific is one of the big reasons. The second part is like it's the decentralization and the like open source nature of what is being built right now, that we can start contributing, we can start participating, and we don't have to wait for somebody to approve
Couldn't
us.
agree more. Yeah.
And that's a huge part. And then longer term, as we think about how we want to build out Soleng, we actually have some ideas, and we're sort of building out our bigger vision that's going to come out into the market very soon.
Nice.
And so, yeah, that's.
So we definitely need a part two. We definitely need a part two to see like Soleng 2.0 kind of like updates. But I couldn't agree more. I think actually, I mean, I've been playing with agent in Web 2. Yeah, this is back in the days, right? With when even like you see already kind of SDK pre-built agents. But the best things around Web 3 right now is that the nature of it, right? Having kind of like open source, literally open source data fetch. Literally, like you can have. You can start from like data, like fully open source data fetching to like kind of Oracle. Literally, you have like DeFi. You have all verticals completely like open for agents to actually play. The question is also how agents will play with agents. If in the future we have like another DevRel agent, how this integration will work out. And I really like another unknown person, Alex, writing, working with Eigen. Yes, they're telling Nader waifu. I love the bio of Soleng actually, like with Nader waifu. So if you're ringing us, Nader, we shout out to you, pushing the space further. And then I have a quick question because we're almost on time, Justin. Like, I just want to understand, why you guys kind of decided to focus on Soleng versus kind of like other agent use case. Any kind of like questions or thought around that?
I think that's a really good question. I think obviously as a team, we've been in the agent space for over a year, and we kind of saw that evolution before it was hot. So when it started with like Truth Terminal, that kind of got a lot of people excited, but it was a very simple form of agents. And we kind of saw the evolution of that, whether that's with Luna in terms of content generation agents or investment agents like AIXBT. We kind of thought that there was kind of two roads that we could have gone down. In terms of investment agents, we definitely see like a huge market around that in terms of DeFi and AI. But we do think it's going to be very crowded, and it's going to be very difficult long term for like players to be rewarded. But what we do see a lot of value is around utility agents, right? So over time, you'll kind of have these different utility agents, whether that's marketing agents, BD agents, solutions engineering agents, evolve, and the market will evolve over time. Naturally, we decided to focus on problems that were core to us. We sort of saw the importance of having DevRel as part of any crypto project, and obviously, given sort of Pura's background in the space, we kind of decided to start with there and sort of grow that vision out over time.
Nice. Actually, is really cool, and yeah, I think the vertical is really nailed down. I think that's especially like developer advocacy, not just developer tooling, is something that is definitely needed, because without actually bringing more developers or builder on an efficient way, we can also not bring awareness from the engineering team side of what is needed and what need to be prioritized in the ecosystem. And I think we're kind of like almost on time. I just want to ask you like any specific kind of use case that you're kind of like more bullish about around agents, right? You touched a little bit of that, but I see really DeFi or social fi agents pushing more the narrative right now. I'm definitely scared about where are we standardizing, how we're standardizing the industry. Right now we see forks of forks. Probably there would be forks also like of Solange that you're looking out. But that's why with ModderDAO, I'm passionate about bringing more attestation and social graphs around future agents. I'm just reviving right now. What was that? 2 years ago when Uni came out, then Sushi came out, then you had Cafe Swap, much as you had all these dexes copy, and I revive really the same things around the agents. So social graph around agent, track record around agents is something that we need to do as soon as possible, because the user, the consumer of agent that will see at their first eye Solange versus Solange copy cannot really say which one is better unless they have a truly social graph and they can fully like actually attest a track record of Solange's being around as helping onboarding developers and as actually creating value for the economy. So I think that's one part, but I want to hear from you, like what kind of vertical you think that other AI agent builders should actually look more right now.
I'll kick things off. I think for me, there's a portion around like reputation of agents and like long-term viability of agents that I'm really interested in. It's part of the social graph component as well. But bullish about like what we are doing. I think just like attracting more builders, helping more people build, right?
Yes.
Like we very much subscribe to Jensen Huang and everybody else's idea that you're going to have like engineers will eventually like become less and less of having to do the manual coding, and agents will continue to do that. And for us, like Solenge is very extensible in that way, where it's going to help you build other agents. It's going to help you improve your code. And so like that kind of use case. But longer term, I think like social graphing is definitely a big part of it. How do you make sure that there's an open competitive playground is another one. Or like I think the deepest core part to me is like Puri can talk a little bit more about this part, but like value attribution is a big part when it comes to agents. And so yeah, that's something else that we're interested in.
Yeah, hopefully in the next space I can come on and talk about that.
Oh yeah, we're planning for that. Yeah,
and just to add to Angela, I think agent coordination is going to be a huge thing. So how can Solenge start working with other trading agents, with other marketing agents, business development agents, and kind of have them working for humans over time and vice versa?
100%. And I feel also like right now we are pushing a lot agent to human interaction, but as you say, Justin, like agent to agent interaction. That's why we kind of also set up like, I don't know, could be standardized endpoint or even kind of like frameworks that those agents can actually like not just speak to each other, but have specific like deliverables to each other, right? Similar when we ask bounty or contribution from developer communities, we still need to have this kind of standardization because I would love for even agent pick up some of the task of the current DevRels, but also like bounties, because I feel like, in the current future, there is already kind of like agent treasury where you can actually deploy some of your treasury to some agents, and there will actually like be a reason to target some of the bounties. Okay, sounds good. I think we're almost at time. I would love to have definitely like a part two to see where this is going. I'm assuming I will see you probably like around Denver and during the hackathon, either the Save Agenton and the ETH Global hackathon I'm looking right now. And we don't know anything else will be awesome. So thanks everybody for today kind of AI agent intelligence podcast / live stream. Awesome to have your insights. I would love to definitely do a part two. And without kind of further ado, I think we are planning to do some kind of like community call on agent next in the Modder Discord. But hey, stay tuned and make sure always to ask question. I see that the comments are awesome. And Khalid, thank you so much for like pushing those comments. And I agree that everything needs to be fully decentralized. I think for AI agent consumer, the usability need to be super simple. And I'm definitely afraid, and I would love to see an aggregator of agents if we're going in that direction, similar to a POE for LLMs, right? That we are getting usability kind of like on the rock. So thank you so much, and I see you guys either in Denver. Any closing words before closing up?
No, long on Leng.
Long on Leng.
Long, long, lang. Long, long language